Finally, I brought for you a wonderful person who will share with you exactly how to make money from SMS and email marketing on your Ecom business.
They're not excited to start email marketing. It's not fun. It's not sexy. We do email and SMS with, we call the 3 Vs: volume, value, and velocity.
Email SMS marketing there is always happening. It's the most favorite part of e-commerce for me.
Woo, yay!
Hello to everyone. Welcome to our podcast, Ecom Business Stream. And actually today we have a wonderful guest, and she is exactly she. It is a business lady. She owning an amazing agency for the SMS and email marketing. Yes, guys, finally I brought for you a wonderful person who will share with you exactly how to make money from SMS and email marketing on your Ecom business. But before we will get started, let me just introduce who is that wonderful person and what actually her short background. So we have a guest, Caroline Castille, who is a real business lady, and she has many talents, experience, and successes in the past. And one of that is her company, which is Clickable Impact, which is specialized on email and SMS marketing for e-commerce brands, where they are scaling e-commerce businesses really on the XXX level ahead to other competitors. Caroline has an extensive background in venture capital and digital marketing, which allows her to help several e-commerce businesses and in the same time to own her numerous e-commerce brands and online businesses out there. Caroline, what's up? How are you doing today?
What's up, man? I am great, busy and blessed, as I usually like to say. So very excited to be on here. Thank you for having me on, by the way. Super excited, passionate to talk to our Ecom audience on everything we have going on. So let's do it.
First of all, you're first lady on the podcast. That's what I can tell you for sure.
Yes, let's go.
Yeah, so people will remember you. And the second, that I was really waiting for email SMS marketing subjects, because this is something which is people underevaluated always. They don't understand how important it is, especially nowadays, for ecosystem of the business. But let's get started. And if you don't mind, I will ask you first of all about your background, how you got started, when it was, what was the reason, and maybe it was your background and you started that from day one when you just were a teenager, or what exactly happened in your life that you become who you are and what you're doing.
That is a great question. I never thought I would get into entrepreneurship when I was 14, 15. I remember moms and dads going to school to bring your parents to work day. I remember when I saw like different careers, right? Different moms and dads coming in. There was a veterinarian, there was a flight attendant, and I was like, oh yeah, making $60K a year as a flight attendant, I could do that. But then as I got older and into college, I said, okay, I guess I could do business management. But if I don't like business management, I'll be a physical therapist and I'll just get both degrees. And so I kind of started out that way as a freshman in college. And then I realized, all right, I don't really like anything healthcare. I can't do like blood or throw up or anything like that. Out of the way. Business management, I started realizing, okay, I was doing some internships. I really did like business. There's something cool about growing it. But I knew I wasn't good at accounting. I did a couple of accounting internships, failed at that. I actually, for one of my accounting internships, I was processing some checks, and we had an ATM machine in the office where we could just process checks. We managed 700 properties with this accounting department. And so processed 700 checks a month. And I processed a check for commission. It was about $30,000 of commission that was due to a real estate agent. I processed it in the wrong account. And, I was staying up late the night before. And I just realized that accounting wasn't for me. And I also realized that just being in a corporate setting wasn't for me either. I worked for Pepsi in the leadership development program. And I realized that being a cog in the wheel.
Not bad for the young age. I will tell you.
Exactly. So this was 2014. I started my first Ecom store and I realized that, wow, I could make my own money. I could run a team. I ran a team of 5 unpaid interns and we grew our Instagram to 10,000 people without even having a product. And those are real people. We posted every day. I bought a lot of Shutterstock photos and this is the golden days of Instagram. And we would put a motivational quote for dancers because it was a dance e-com store. And so we kept building it and it was really cool. And I realized, you know what? I want to be an entrepreneur. So I realized, hey, I'm going to major in finance for my degree. I'm also going to major in Spanish because I think it's really important to connect with people and to connect with people on a whole nother level if you could talk in another language. So eventually became a fluent speaker in Spanish, got my degree in Spanish, got my degree in finance. The Ecom store still couldn't produce enough income for me to go full time. So I interned at this venture capital group called Florida Angel Nexus, and then eventually became a partner there. We built that to one of the biggest angel capital groups in the state of Florida, eventually raised 20 million for 71 tech companies. And then I sold the business in 2018. And then I realized, hey, internet marketing is a huge opportunity. I mean, that was the era of when Ty Lopez was cleaning the cars and had a viral ad, right? I was one of the
2017, I guess, something like that.
Yeah, that was 2017. I was one of those people that bought that course. I was like,
I was one of them, no worries.
And I 100% went into having an agency and realized, wow, I mean, it's so cool to create impact, not only in my own e-com store, but in other people's e-com store. Obviously, what we did, we started with everything when we started the agency. And we realized, hey, we're really good at e-com. So we niched down to e-com and did everything for e-com stores. And then we realized, wow, we need to specialize it and turn the dial our services really in. And we realized that we're just really good at email and SMS. Like all of our accounts had 30, 50% of revenue, store revenue through email, SMS. And so we're like, all right, we're going to go super hardcore into this. And not only are we going hardcore, we're going to do it on performance. So there you go. Emailonperformance.com was born. That's my gig today. And along the way, we acquired other e-com brands. So I mentioned our dance e-com brand. We still have that. The agency runs that, bsubstancewear.com. And then we have another brand called flightpathgolf.com. That started out as a licensing deal with a student from UCF. We bought every unit wholesale. That was our deal the first 6 months. That deal blew up to, first 6-7 months, we were doing 100K a month. And that was back in, I want to say end of 2020. Beginning of 2020 is when we launched a new website, and they barely had, I think they had like $7,000 in sales. And now that company we own 51% of. So not only do we do email and SMS on performance, but we have our own e-com stores where we're building them to sell. So that's kind of how it started. And everything just started out of my passions. I love growing things just like you do. We love the hustle. We love the game. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Listen, I can hear that you have a lot of different directions in your business, which is wonderful to speak about, because you have email, SMS, which is your, I believe, main product, but in the same time, you acquire different e-commerce brands, I'm wondering to know how exactly it's working on your end. For example, you find out the store, which was barely making 7K a month and became on 100+K a month. First of all, how you found that store, why you decided that it's going to be a great fit for you, that you are able to get something from it according to your skills, and what exactly have you done? So let's start it from how you got it, how you found it, how you get the deal, and then how you scale it.
How we find it, how do we grow it? So it was a funny story. I met Danny Whalen, the inventor, at a business plan competition at the University of Central Florida. So saw him in the corner. He wasn't talking to anybody. Went over, talked to him, and said, "Hey, what are you up to?" And he showed me, "Hey, this is my golf tee, and I'm selling this." And I was like, "Oh, interesting." And I said, "Why don't you just come to the office and we'll talk about the project and see what we can do?" And then Mike, my business partner, was looking at it, also fiance, was looking at it and he was like, oh, wow. Yeah, we definitely need to do a performance deal with this one. And I was like, are you sure? Because we've lost a lot of money doing performance deals. And performance deals meaning, hey, we'll do a deal where we get upside for the short term and then we'll eventually acquire the business. We just want to prove the model first. We'll acquire a big piece of the business or a minority stake. And so basically what had happened is Mike said, all right, we're going to do a performance deal. And that's how it happened. That was end of 2019. And so we said, all right, you're going to shut down your website. Didn't really matter because there was no sales on the website. We said, you're going to shut down the Amazon store. And then we're just going to drive traffic from Facebook into a funnel. We said, hey, we're going to really focus our efforts. We're just going to drive traffic there. That way all the sales can come in through the store. And we also had a couple distributors. We shut down those partnerships too, so we could just focus on one source of traffic. We launched end of 2019. I want to say around January 1, 2020. That's when we launched the new store, flypathgolf.com. We just had one funnel. It was very ClickFunnels-esque, just on Shopify. We had the golf tee and just different upsells. And we started running traffic on Facebook. And it was a job. We were looking at Hotjar, trying to figure out what people were doing on the site. We were testing all types of headlines, testing all types of copy. We were switching infographics in and out of the lander, right? So that was 3 months of testing. We had 2 full-time people on this. Mike was spending maybe at least 30 hours a week. And we had one other team member that was just spending time testing and recalibrating our content so we see what is going to work. And so we started getting sales probably within the first 60 days. We started getting more trending sales. And then the first 90 days, that's when we started ticking up to 20, 30K a month. And then month 4 and 5 started getting into 50, 60, 70K. And then by month 5 and 6, we were at 100K. And this was during COVID too. So we were fulfilling from the house, not our house, but another team member's house. And then we kept having to be hiring people because there were not enough people to fulfill fast enough for us. So we were buying printers for people and they were just fulfilling from their house because nobody wanted to go somewhere to fulfill. It's hard to find a fulfillment center. And so how did we grow it? What I alluded to when I said, hey, we shut down all the other sources of traffic, one of the big pieces that helped us grow so fast, so quickly, was that we just focused on one source of traffic and selling one product. A lot of entrepreneurs focus on selling many things everywhere, and you really need to focus. So focusing where you're sending your traffic from is really important because you just got to learn what is successful, right? And pivot the ads. And any media buyer will tell you that. You have to test a certain amount of headlines, content, etc. But I think the biggest thing here to learn is that we focus in. Usually your first $1 million is one product that you're really good at selling and one source of traffic. And we checkbox that and checkbox that. And how did we find them? I'm always out and about in the community, right? So I'm going to e-commerce stuff. You and I met through a mastermind, being out and about in the community, being out in Facebook groups. That's how we find some of our best e-com stores. And we run our own ads for the agency to be able to acquire clients as well. But I would say if you don't have a budget for ads, you're looking to find interesting e-commerce stores to work with, then I would say be out and about, be building relationships. Even if it's not with an e-com store, there could be a great ad agency or maybe a CMO agency that you could build a relationship with where if they need your help doing something very specific, they're going to refer you. We have a lot of great referral partnerships like that. And then growing it, once we really honed in on Facebook, we started launching Google ads. We started doing email and SMS. Should we have started doing email and SMS before that? Yeah. We could have built more
I was about to ask you why so late.
We could have done email and SMS way before. What I usually tell entrepreneurs is have a welcome series built out, like at least 3 to 5 emails in your welcome series. On our stuff, if email and performance is doing it, we're going to have 10 in there, but let's just talk about a baseline, right? 3 to 5 in your welcome series campaigns, 3 to 5 in your abandoned cart, 3 to 5 in your post-purchase. Start with that at least, even before you run traffic. You could hire someone to do it or do it yourself. Start with that first because it's just going to help you make more money. But not only that, it's just really hard to break even on the first sale nowadays. It's hard to break even. There are e-com stores that can do that and be profitable on the first sale, but you need all the force multipliers you can get. If email and SMS is going to give you an extra 30% lift on your revenue, why not do it? You know, at least those, I just gave you guys 9 emails, right? 3 in welcome series, 3 in abandoned cart, 3 in post-purchase. That should be easy to do.
You started running on the Facebook. Actually, it would be like most of our listeners, so the guys and girls out there who are actually media buyers, entrepreneurs, and related to media buying, because everything in e-commerce related to media buying. And they would be wondering, okay, I started as well. We have so many these kind of cases that they started and it didn't work out. And you said one important thing, that it was focus. That's for sure. I agree with you 100% to focus on one stuff before implementing any others. But in your opinion, what was real game changer stuff in terms of testing in Facebook that you find out, wow, that's a game changer. We'll move forward into this angle. What have you done, or in what kind of moment you were realizing that, oh, this is the thing?
One viral piece of content that did help us scale was a very simple ad. It just had, I wish I would have brought the product, but it just had the product rotating like this, right? A 3D product. And all it said is, this golf tee is almost cheating. Huge red and white text. You could probably still see it on Facebook Library if you want to go check out the ad.
Mm-hmm.
That ad went viral, and our cost to acquire a customer was less than $10. I would say $5 to $7 to acquire a new customer. Once you find a winning ad like that, all you have to do is spend more money. And so for a media buyer, you just have to have the balls to spend more money, really, and be able to scale from.
Yeah.
Right. Start spending. A lot of media buyers that I've worked with in the past, once you find an ad that works, people just get scared to start spending $500, $1,000, $2,000 a day or more. And sometimes you just got to get the balls and literally just tell Facebook, okay, instead of $100, we're going to do $500 today, and then just keep monitoring. That was the biggest thing. That piece of content right there really helped. The other pieces of content that really helped, we're talking about it as a performance piece, a performance tool, help you really be better at golf. A lot of mistakes that I see when media buyers or content creators, when they start creating content, they just talk about the products and they don't talk about what makes the product different and like that transformation process. For example, there's a few other golf products we worked with, a few other brands that we have as clients. And sometimes there's a glasses client, right? That's really a performance glasses client, but they were talking about it as apparel and like fashion. And their cost to acquire customer, they were losing money on their ads, right? And that's only because they were talking about it. Exactly.
Yeah, in general.
So really talking about the differentiators in your content is important. And if you can show the data, show the data. For our tee, it's robotically tested. It's not going to help you become a better golfer, but is it robotically tested to help you get a few yards? Yes. So that was nice to have the data and to show that it's proven and actually does what it promises.
Nice.
So that was the interesting thing too. And not only that, not only having the content, but testing different angles of that content, testing different colors, testing different testimonials too. Those are really key. I mean, we film testimonials all the time. We just did a big deal with Playbook to get 160 pieces of content. So we're always looking for new faces, new golfers, new influencers. And so that's something that in the beginning, we always had different pieces of content so that we could test until we found a winning piece of content. The other thing that was a game changer outside of the margin and outside of us talking about it as a performance product is the actual margin of the products. We have a great margin, okay? It's like 80% or more, you know? If you have a better margin like that, you're gonna be able to afford to buy more media. So a lot of people
to test more.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people have food products they sell online. You only have like 3 or 10% margin. You're going to have to do a lot more volume, and you're really going to have to get the second sale. For us, if somebody buys another pack of 8s for $20, somebody buys another one, we got extra gravy on that sale. And if they buy 2 months from now, we got extra gravy. Our return rate on the store is 30%.
Wow.
So that speaks to the product. It speaks to the product, but that also helps fund more ad spend, more inventory, etc. So there's a lot of other pieces here than just really good media buying. You have to have good margin. You have to have a product that delivers on its promises. And you have to have a good business model where people want to come back.
Yep, I understand. I believe it helps as well, great marketing strategy as well to bring them back. Right. And let's dive in on this example, or maybe you have something what is super newest where you got the client and you made some significant difference in terms of results in the short period of time. If any, let me know and how you done it. That would be wonderful to listen, because let's move to the SMS email marketing, where I want to hear your tricks, how you doing that.
Yes, 100%. One client specifically, pulling up a case study here on my phone to show you guys. So it was really funny how this client kind of started. They really didn't have, or the founder was like struggling with email marketing and really doing it. Obviously, it takes a while to learn the software and learn how to do it, and learning graphic design, etc. So he was just like, please just take it over. And we started with him just last month, and I was looking at the dashboards earlier today, and we went from, let me see if I can blow this up a little bit so you guys can see it. The revenue from Klaviyo was, I don't know if you guys can see it on the, right there. Revenue from Klaviyo was 1,900.
It's when he joined it, am I right?
Yes, that's when he started working with us. And then, let me see here. And then now, just this month, 13K.
Nice. How long he's staying with you?
That's just in a month.
In a month. Nice. He didn't have the nice flows running on his end, I believe.
Correct. So he had very little flows. I think he had 2 or 3 abandoned carts and 1 or 2 welcome
the most basic
emails. The most basic ones. We started putting 12 emails in there of just other different types of automated flows. On top of that, we did a promotion campaign. So I believe it was for Cyber Monday. That really helped boost sales too. And we also did a few other automated campaigns that are simply text-based, that are from a customer service person saying, hey, this is Caroline from X customer service team. I'm just checking in and making sure you love the product. Tell me more. Reply to this email. That simple email gets a lot of sales, sometimes more sales than a promo email. So that's an easy one that anybody can create, that a lot of e-commerce stores don't do at all. Literally creating a customer service. It doesn't even have to be your name, right? It could be Michelle at ecomstore.com. And Michelle just keeps checking in once every week, right? And just is making sure that they're loving the product. And then at the end of that flow, when Michelle checks in 2 or 3 times, you can ask for a testimonial. So there's so many things you could do with that. But one big one, right, is once you get your store to really get a good community on your email list that really believes in what you're doing, they love what you're sending, you're adding some value, then you can hit them hard with a promo. But you have to do a lot of things before that. So we did a promo for that client that went from $1,000 to $13,000 in 30 days. We did some community building. We did some rapport building with customer service, right? We did some community building too. Community building means let's repurpose emails, or let's repurpose social media content. So influencer posts, if you did a blog post, we're going to repurpose that into an email. An advertorial, if you do an advertorial, we're going to repurpose that into an email too, where we can actually provide value. So we're providing value, we're building the community, build community, and then you can go in for the punch with the promo. It's kind of like Gary V's like jab, jab, right hook. You got to do the jabs first before you go into the right hook.
And usually, I believe you have standard flows, which you just make like a skeleton, which you just make the adjustments to the different niches, different products. And how big is the flow, and like what you're starting with on the month 1 and let's say in the 6 months, what is be coming to, if that case is successful?
Even easier to kind of look at it from a high level. Let's think a year from the first time that we have a kickoff call, right? A year passes by. We like to implement a minimum of 160 emails, right? So that's 12 emails a month minimum. Now, if the client's really doing well, like this client, we'll probably do double time. We'll probably do 24 or more. And half of those, about half, will be automations. And maybe another half will be like segmented campaigns, maybe to top 20 purchasers or bottom 20 purchasers or whatever, depending on what the email strategist thinks. Those 160 emails, those are going, obviously the basic flows. So just like we were talking about before, welcome series, abandoned cart, post-purchase. Those are the ones that are low hanging fruit. So we do those first. On top of that, we do the text messages too. So we're going to do a abandoned cart flow, start doing a win back flow, etc. So it's important you do text message marketing too, because that's an even lower hanging fruit. There's less copy there. There's less everything to do for text message marketing. So that's the first month we're doing all that. And then we're continuing to build the flows. So once we have the abandoned cart flow done, the welcome series flow, the post-purchase flow, then we do the repeat post-purchase flow. That's one that a lot of people forget too. Next, we do the customer win-back flow. Anybody that hasn't bought in 90 days, we want to start reaching back out to them, not with a discount, but with value-building emails. So either from a customer service rep, repurposing content, maybe we have a cool announcement of our founder that was just on TV, all that stuff. One other big thing too with abandoned cart flows is a lot of people think that it's best to just give a discount in the abandoned cart flow. That's 100% way to make less money. So don't do that. You definitely want to just send them an email that tells them what the top 5 frequently asked questions are. Because usually the issue is not that they wanted a discount. That's not the issue. The issue is usually they don't trust your site, or they have a question about the product. When is it going to be fulfilled? Or if it's going to be fulfilled, or what kind of wrapping does it come in? Or is it going to look exactly the way that I think it's going to look? Those are usually the questions that they have. So you want to make sure you put answers to those questions. For the first 2 or 3 emails, you want to put things like that. Maybe the next email can be a testimonial. We have a standard operating procedure of which emails go where.
Do you approach your customers with like, hey, we noticed you recently purchased, record for us some video or photo testimonial and whatever it is, cashback or offer, whatever, something like that for your post-purchase emails?
Correct. Yeah. Eventually, post-purchase emails, 100% that. And you just want to say thank you too. Like the first email should be thank you for purchase. A lot of people like already think of cross-selling them. No, you want to just thank them for your purchase, a couple of value-added emails, then you can go in for the right hook. And then one important thing too, like once you get your first few flows built out, you want to start thinking of list cleaning. So we like to clean lists every 90 days, every quarter. And anybody who hasn't opened your email for the entire quarter, you basically want to clean them out. Super important, because emails, your bigger your list is, the more it costs. If you have most of the platforms that are really good, they charge you per email, right? So we don't want any dead weight on there. But we're not going to say...
Is it true that the more people gonna be unsubscribed from your email list, your deliverability will be dropped down as well? So better to clean the email list as well for that purposes. Am I right?
Exactly. Yep. So we clean the list for lower cost for your list in general, because the software is usually going to charge you per email. And then the other lower cost piece of this is your domain health. It's going to be
Yeah.
a very costly thing for you to fix your domain later if you don't clean your list now, because those people that aren't opening your emails for whatever reason, they're just not a customer at this time. So you just want to clean the list. If you get a lot of unsubscribes, your domain health will go down, and that's very costly. And most of the time, or not most of the time, but 50% chance that it's going to be very hard and cumbersome process, and sometimes impossible, like 50% chance that it's impossible to get your domain health back to where it was. A lot of times we can get it back to a healthy way where we're getting at least a 30% open rate, but it's a very cumbersome, costly process.
So in this case, you would suggest to people who listening out us, so if they have, let's say, a couple of thousand email lists, but they can see that several people never open their emails from any kind of flows, better to delete them. Do not keep them as a potential customer, because they're not potential. Am I right?
Yes. If they haven't opened the email in 90 days, take them off the list. We're not going to say goodbye to them forever, though. So when you have a Godfather offer, when you have a Grand Slam offer, Tripwire offer, whatever you want to call it, let's say Black Friday, you have a buy one, get one offer. That's when you want to bring them back and say, hey, now is the time. Let's get you back into the community. We have an amazing offer for you. We know you want this. So that's the time to bring them back. I would say send them, the people that you take off your list, send them an email once or twice a year. That way you can still capitalize on that list later, and you didn't have to pay for that data all throughout the year.
Okay. Yeah, that completely makes sense. And in this case of dealing with the email marketing, SMS marketing, what in your opinion was the biggest challenge to figure it out? Maybe it is laws according to the SMS, which is always updating and changing. Maybe there is something related to domain, DNS. What would be your biggest pain in your opinion?
Yeah, the biggest challenge that I see for a lot of the e-commerce stores out there is, as far as SMS and email marketing, is finding the right software, because software is always changing, like Klaviyo and all
Which
these
one
other
would you
platforms.
recommend?
Attentive. Klaviyo is my favorite right now. If we're just talking about SMS, not necessarily, right? But if you want the right attribution, then definitely do Klaviyo. Because if you already have email marketing on Klaviyo, then it's going to have better attribution. Better attribution meaning if you have a separate SMS platform than your email marketing platform, there is a really heavy chance that there's going to be a lot of double reporting. I'm not a fan of double reporting. I like everything to be last touch attribution. That way we can kind of see the attribution as fair as it could possibly be, right? So there's no 100% attribution, but if we can get it the most accurate possible, great. I have used Klaviyo and Postscript separately, right, for like one Ecom store before. And what I've realized is Postscript definitely over-reported, okay? And I'm sure that's true with other platforms too. I've had problems in the past where Klaviyo and Postscript, the revenue together, reported more revenue than the actual store revenue. So that to me is definitely
That's
double
interesting.
reporting. Yes, exactly. And so for me, if we're getting paid on commission, I want everything to be fair, but also I want business owners and myself to be able to make decisions with real data. So the way that Klaviyo does it, right, is if someone looks at an email, right, and also looks at a text message later in the day, maybe they click on the email, right, at 9 a.m., drinking their coffee, they click the email, then later as they're eating lunch, they click a text message. Because they clicked the text message last and then they bought, Klaviyo is going to attribute the revenue to the text message. So you want to make sure your attribution is just set up so that you can track that value journey, right, from the email and the text message and back and forth, so that you can kind of see which one's doing better. What do you need more of? Attribution is always going to be hard. It's going to get harder. So that just means that you just all have to be better marketers at the end of the day. But I would say make sure you're either using a third-party tracking like Google Analytics, UTM tags, or just use one platform for email and SMS. That way you can just attribute both separately. That's my note for that. I do have another case study. So we started with this Ecom store. They were doing, let's say, how long have we been with this Ecom store? Maybe like 4 months now, 3 or 4 months. They started at $6,000 a month, and they weren't excited about doing email marketing. You know,
they were doing 6,000 in total revenue. Am I right?
No, yeah, so total email revenue. They were doing about 40,000. They were doing 40,000 in store revenue total. So they were spending lower 5 figures in ads and not doing anything in email marketing. They're not excited to start email marketing. It's not fun. It's not sexy. So why should it be exciting? They hop on the call with us. They're not excited about it. We said, hey, we'll do it for performance. And they said, okay, fine. We'll just do it. So 3/4 months later, we're now at 69K.
69 in the emails only.
Just email marketing.
How does they feel now?
We were able to get $70,000 just this month in email marketing from $6,000 3 months ago. That's
with change. I believe now they understand that they made the best decision. I would say, no, according to this particular example, is that people are scared about what they don't know, but they must take that kind of step to make the difference. Because this particular example, the person decided to trust you from 6K jumped into the 69 couple of months. It's incredible. That's the main message to people out there who are listening to us. Sometimes you need just to trust the process and give it a shot, and not for a month or for a couple of weeks and see how that would perform. No, it takes time, at least 90 days to see if there is really something happening. But email SMS marketing, there is always happening. It's the most favorite part of e-commerce for me. Not to implement, but to follow.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, so the same thing with this client. They had not really a lot. We still haven't started text message marketing with this client, by the way.
It's only emails?
That's only email marketing.
That's it. Now I can tell you it's even more impressed. It's really impressed. So how he didn't utilize his email list that it's became such hard now. Wow.
Yeah, so and we should be able to make at least an extra $7,000. We should have been able to make at least an extra $7,000 on this account just doing text message marketing, guys. Text message marketing should be at least 10% of your revenue. And that's just sending a really quick text, doing really good segmentation and really good copy.
Open rate is huge there, and the conversion rate is much higher according to that. SMS marketing for me must be everywhere. And by the way, according to one of the last questions about everything like SMS marketing, do you see any significant problems with the laws, putting people in the list and so on? Because it's another point, people first of all has trust to your service in general, has problems with the trust, like I don't know if I will give her access and so on. But another second point, SMS, it's so difficult, there is a law, I will be sued and so on. I want to hear that from the email SMS marketing person who is really experienced and know what you're talking about the law of marketing. How does it work, and what people should scare and what people should be okay with?
So how do you avoid getting sued? How do you not get customers to sue you? Okay, so I'll bring it back to super high level. We do email and SMS with what we call the 3 V's: volume, value, and velocity. We talked about volume already. Volume is just do 10x more than what you're doing already. If you have 5 emails in flows right now, do 50, okay? That's gonna get you the same results as these case studies, just doing more volume and doing the 2 other V's. Second V is value. So if you're really giving value and you're providing some knowledge or inform or entertain, funny is money. If you're doing one of those 2 things, informing or entertaining, people will always love your emails and want to receive your emails. Don't just send promos. That's the second V, value. The third V is what we're going to talk about next, how to not get sued. Which also providing value is how you not get sued. But the third V is velocity. You want to send emails and text messages at the right rate when people are ready to receive them. So this is when your strategist mind comes in to think, when do people want to get an email from me.
So do not annoying them in the wrong time.
Exactly. At the wrong time. So when
is there a specific time for everyone around there, or it depends on the product?
It depends on the product. It definitely depends on the product. It depends on the value journey. So if you have a consumable product like beauty or makeup or food, you can probably send more and they won't get annoyed because you can create a lot more content. Tips on how to eat right, how to take care of your skin. You could create a whole customer service avatar, making sure that they're a really good skin coach. So there's a lot of cool ways you could do with consumables, right? To do more volume, way more volume. Like I'm talking once a day, even if you have a small email list. And a small email list could be 2,000, 10,000 emails and text messages. That's a smaller list. You could become a beauty coach or a food coach and not annoy people. For products that are less consumable, let's say flight path, golf tees, you get 8 tees in a pack. We're not expecting another sale for 60 days from one customer, right? Because they're not going to run out of tees. Not everybody golfs every day. So how do we create content and create the right velocity? Now that our email list is over 100,000 people, we send an email out every day. But before then, we would set up the flows, and you can set specific preferences within Klaviyo to only send every 2 days or 3 days. So that's what you want to do. Is if you don't have a huge list, you're still warming up your people, and you don't have a consumable product, you probably only want to send every 2 or 3 days. Now, when your email list gets bigger, and then if you have a consumable product, you do this before your list gets bigger, let's say 30,000 emails or more, you can start sending emails every day, 1 email a day, not multiple emails a day. Now, when we get to a bigger list, like 100,000 people, 100,000 emails, text messages, etc. That's when you can start sending more than 1 email a day, because the rate at which you have a good, healthy open rate, as long as you have a 30% open rate, 30% open rate, and you have enough people clicking on the emails and a lower subscribe rate, you can start sending 3 emails a day. I'm not telling you if you have 100,000 people email list right now to send a bunch of emails. If you haven't been emailing them, send a bunch. So you have to warm them up. So if you have a big list and it's already warm, yes, you can start sending a higher velocity of emails. But if you only have a smaller email list, let's say 2,000 to 20,000 people, just start sending them every 2 or 3 days, right? Unless they're in abandoned cart and they actually want the product, I would definitely send an email every day in that flow. But I would just, a few times a week, set the filter on your email software to just send every 2 or 3 days. That way you don't get a high unsubscribe rate, because you're still learning what your customers really like and what they want to hear. That's how you don't get sued. And make sure that on your text message marketing system that there are different ways to be compliant. Usually on your text message marketing platform, they'll have certain things on the platform. So for text message marketing, you should always have a checkbox where people can opt in and subscribe. And then there are different things that you should be aware of. Sometimes the laws will change where you can only send a certain amount of abandoned carts in your text message flows. And the software companies, whatever software you're using, they should keep abreast of that. And you should be aware of that, like PostScript. They've been shortening down the amount of text messages that we can send out in a flow. And rightfully they should, because the laws change over time. They don't want to get sued either. So make sure you just keep updated with the laws. They change all the time as far as how you opt in, how opting out works. And then just make sure that if the software says you can't do it, then there's probably a reason why. But basically it goes back. Yeah. Basically it goes back to the 3 V's. Volume, value, and velocity. If you're doing all those things and doing those things well, everything that I was saying before, then you should be fine. You shouldn't be getting sued from anybody on your email and text messages at all.
Yeah, that's actually a good insight, especially simple thing, just read updates from the newsletters, from your apps which you're using, one of the simplest things. But by providing value, people will never ever won't be mad on you and trying to suit you. That's for sure. It's a simple and logical, and to be honest, too simple to be true, but it is. And people are scared so much in our days. Not in our days, it was always there. People were always scared about something what haven't happened to them yet, and that's why they don't start it. Instead of just to go implement and see what will happen after, but doing the steps, which is, as you said, 3V, then it will help them out to avoid that what they were scared from the beginning, that it will never even happen to them. So stop feeling fear about something what is never happened to you. It was always ridiculous for me, but it is what it is. Anyway, Caroline, actually, we are running out of time, and I would like to ask you one of the last questions, which is not related to the subject, which I'm asking every single guest on our podcast, and I'm wondering to hear your answer. So, what would you choose, the journey or the end result?
The journey, 100%.
Why?
Well, the end result is like fun. When you look in your bank account, you're like, oh, wow, I have more money in there than I had previously, right? And I think a lot of entrepreneurs see that. And it's like, I didn't get into entrepreneurship to see just that, right? To see just the results. I got into this because I felt I was becoming a different person. I was learning about myself, about others, how to grow things, how to build things, how to impact people's lives, as cheesy as it sounds, and how to really do something that's fun. And so I get a lot of fulfillment out of it. I get a lot of fulfillment about the journey. I get a lot of fulfillment out of challenges, even though they may be stressful. I get a lot of fulfillment out of working with cool people like you, and meeting cool people like you at Mastermind. And that's all part of the journey. And so it wouldn't make the end result as fun if it was, if it didn't have any challenges. So that's why I love the journey. The end result is nice, and it's really fun at the end of it to be able to have a vacation, look at my bank account, look at the business and see the business and our e-commerce stores being able to grow on their own. But at the end of the day, that my sense of fulfillment not only comes from that, but seeing that happen and know that, hey, I actually did this, and being really proud of myself for that. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs get caught up in the day-to-day. They get stressed about problems, and what you have to really learn is that it's just part of having a business, and you kind of have to enjoy the problems. One of my meditations this week was to think of life as a friend. Every time life throws something at you, like a challenge, you have to thank life. You have to thank your friend, life, for throwing you that challenge. Life happens for you, not to you. Exactly. So you have to kind of think of those challenges as just gifts, that life is throwing you gifts so that you can learn and be better for tomorrow.
I will tell you, thanks for the answer. I love that answer. To be honest with you, it's like 90% similar to what I would answer in my end. And end result is awesome. I love end result, but usually when I get it, I'm like, okay, what's next? So it means it's just a part of the journey, which is like we get it and we're moving forward. And anyway, thank you so much, Caroline. And that was wonderful to have a conversation with you. Before we end it, do you have anything for our audience? What would you like to share? Or maybe your contact details if someone would like to work with you on email, SMS, marketing business, or something else where they can reach out to you.
Yeah, so if you're interested in working together, or you just want help, you want me to look at your emails or my team, head to emailonperformance.com. And you could book a call with our team there. You can reach out to me. Caroline Castille is my Instagram handle. If you want a really good partner to help scale your Ecom store in general, you're looking for somebody to acquire your Ecom store, definitely reach out to me via personal DM on LinkedIn or Instagram, or on my website, carolinecastille.com. Yeah.
Awesome.
And that's about it. Thank you so much for having me, by the way. This was a lot of fun.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure for me, Caroline. And we will edit all your links and in our bio of the podcast and in YouTube. And however, guys and girls, thank you for listening to the podcast. It was an awesome one. Ask your questions and we'll see if we something didn't cover, and obviously we didn't cover a lot. Maybe we'll record another podcast later on there, exactly according to your questions and your feedback. And this was Caroline Castille, and I appreciate for your time and speak to you next time. See you.
Woo! Yay!